Hello and welcome everyone to another biology class of Fun Scholar. So I am back again with the chapter for class 6 under CBSE board, and the name of the chapter is Mindful Eating, a path to a healthy body. We all are very much aware with the saying that a healthy mind dwells in a healthy body. So, this is the motto of this chapter, that unless and until your body is healthy, your mind will not be sound to perform all the activities for a regular basis. Hence, we first need to check that whether our body is healthy or not. And in order to ensure that, food is the main criterion, because we know we get all the sources of nutrients, all the sources of energy, all the sources for building our body strong from food only. So food is actually the fuel of our body, and without which we cannot survive. Hence this chapter definitely, as you have understood by now, deals with the essential food items that are required on a regular basis and how much they actually help us to keep our body going. Also, we will know what do we mean by a balanced diet and look for the sources of food also from which we can get our regular dose of nutrients on a regular basis. So, without any further delay, we'll start this chapter on this note. Let's begin. So this is the table of contents that you can see what are the topics that we are going to cover under this chapter. Food variety and ingredients. We know that we don't like to have the same kind of food every day. We need variety. So what are the variety of food items that we can have on a regular basis that we'll know? Then the ingredients. Ingredients mean the raw materials required to prepare their food, right? So those things, what are the requirements for a particular food item to be prepared, that we will see. Components of food, it deals with the macronutrients that we get from food, like carbohydrates, proteins and fats. These are the macronutrients. Also the micronutrients that we get from food, they are vitamins and minerals which help to make our immune system strong, and they actually act as the defense system of our body. Sources of food, it mainly deals with plant and animal sources. Whether the food that we are intaking come from animals or plant based products. So that is the thing. We have some test for different nutrients. How we are going to know carbohydrate or protein or fat? So there are some simple type of tests to confirm that. And finally we are going to deal with some deficiency diseases, that we need to know the consequences, that if we don't have the required amount of nutrients from our food, so what are the consequences that we can suffer from? Obviously the consequences mean the deficiency disorders, and how in the deficiency of particular nutrients we are going to suffer from particular diseases that we are going to cover in this chapter. So this is the overall view of the chapter. Now we'll start the particular topics. So in the introduction, we already know that food is essential for life, providing energy and nutrients required to maintain bodily functions, to support growth and sustain overall health. So we require energy and nutrients. Energy to perform all the tasks on a regular basis, and nutrients so that our body can grow physiologically, our body can develop and mature. And growth doesn't always means the division of cells or growing in size. So growth and development, they occur hand in hand. So growth means the development or maturity of our body inside out. And sustain overall health means even if we are healthy, we need to maintain that healthy condition all throughout our lifetime, so that we can remain protected from the foreign particles, from the pathogens causing various kinds of diseases. So how we can do that with the help of food? That is the thing that we need to understand. Also, food is a vital source of macronutrients, as I discussed, and micronutrients like vitamins and minerals. The diversity of food around the world reflects cultural traditions, regional ingredients, and agricultural practices. So the last line means that according to the food taken by the people of a particular region, we can understand that what type of food is actually grown in that area, which reflects the agricultural practices. For example, if some area grows rice on a large scale, so you will observe that the people of that area will take majority of the rice and the rice products, because that particular food item is grown on a large scale. So they are taking that food item since their birth, right? And because that is readily available and also affordable. Then food intake also reflects the regional ingredients. Now, how do you cook a certain food? For example, raw vegetables. So, in order to make curry out of the raw vegetables, we need some spices. Now, which type of spices are we going to use? Obviously, again, the items which are either grown locally or which can be easily affordable by transportation. So those spices only we'll use in our cooking. Hence, food will also reflect the spices available in and around that place. Also, food will reflect cultural tradition. Means that the way we prepare the food, the way we are going to, are we preparing spicy food, or are we preparing it plain? So it actually reflects that the way we are taking the food. For example, Pongal, Onam, and on these festivals they prepare certain special dishes made from coconut, rice, all these things. Then here also, in some special occasions like Durga Puja, we make some special sweets, and so festivals and food, they are closely intertwined with each other, and we associate certain food items with certain festivals, and those festivals are obviously an integral part of our culture. Now, as the great philosopher Hippocrates has mentioned, that let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. While this line means that food be thy medicine. Thy means your. It is the Latin word which means the your. So food is the medicine. If we take proper food, then we will fall ill less, and food will also act as the protective mechanism against the diseases. So food is like medicine. What happens when we fall ill? We take medicines. So instead of taking medicines, if we take a particular food item which has the same medicinal, or which has got the same therapeutic property as the medicine only, then we can actually ward off that disease minus the side effects, because we know in preparing the medicines or the drugs, many synthetic materials are used, which if their residues they are retained in the body, can cause a lot of problems in the long run. But if we treat any disease, or when we are healthy, if we can maintain our health with the help of food, then obviously there is no side effect, but we will get the entire benefit from our food only. And medicine be thy food, because we take food in a certain proportion, right? So medicine should always be taken. It's not that we should take medicine by self medication. That is the first thing which should be discarded at the earliest. We should always consult an expert or a physician. And also the dosage, the dose of the medicine should always be followed properly. The entire course should be completed, otherwise that disease can actually relapse. So therefore, just like in the food we keep the quantity and we actually maintain that proportion, so similarly we should do with the medicine. The first topic is about food variety and ingredients. For that, we'll first watch a video and then discuss. But regarding food variety and sources, I already have told you, we don't like to have the same type of food on a regular basis. We need to change that. And according to our taste and platter, we like to have food. But the food variety that we take comes from two sources mainly, as I said, plant and animals. So which food items comes from plant sources and which one comes from animal sources, that idea we should have, and we'll have that idea from this video. So let's watch it.
Can you imagine a car running without fuel? As of 2017, not many cars can run without fuel, right? Similarly, you must have noticed that after a regular interval of time, we need to charge our cell phones. That means even machines need energy to work. In a similar way, a human being also needs fuel to work or to survive. And how is this fuel obtained by us? Yes, it's in the form of food that we consume. Now let's talk about our favorite food. Maybe we can think of a pizza. If we are given a choice, we would eat it for all the meals in a day. Maybe we would love to have it the next day too. But on the third day, we would probably crave for some variety of food. Our body will demand something else or something more. Yes, that means our body is designed to consume a variety of food items. That is why we eat different kinds of food every day, isn't it? Our breakfast begins with healthy sprouts, bread, and milk. And then many of us prefer having rice during lunch. And what goes into the dinner plate? Something light maybe, like soups and salads along with different kinds of vegetables. So much variety. All these examples indicate that our meals have various ingredients in it. These ingredients combine to form different kinds of dishes which we relish eating. For instance, rice grains are mixed with water and heated to form boiled rice. Now tell me, what all ingredients are mixed together to form a salad? That's right. Salad is a mixture of raw vegetables and yogurt. Now these were the ingredients that we talked about. Where do you think all these foods come from? For us, food comes from two sources, either from plants or from animals. Living beings like humans consume food from these two sources. Wait a second. Why did I say humans consume food from these two sources? Do other organisms have a different diet? Don't all the animals eat both plants and other animals? And what about plants themselves? Well, let us find out how plants gain the necessary energy to perform their activities. For that, you will have to watch our next video.
So as I said earlier, we eat different kinds of food depending on the place that we live. according to our taste and according to the availability. For example, if we want to have kawa or the kawa tea, so we won't get it here. We need to go to Kashmir because that tea is available there. Hence, the availability of the food in a certain region is the main thing which decides that what are the things that we have in our diet. Then taste. So among all the food items available in a particular region, not all the individuals like to have everything. For example, you might dislike one or two veggies or one or two fruits, and you don't like when in your home that vegetable is cooked and you actually crave for something else. So because your taste doesn't like, or you that vegetable is not suited for your platter, but on the other hand, might be you like some vegetable so much or any fruit so much that you will love it if that vegetable is prepared in the curry for a certain day. Even if, as said, that if you would even eat that curry for 1 or 2 days more, but then again you will need another variety. So this proves that even if the food is very tasty or the food is according to our platter, but still we don't enjoy having the same kind of food, uh, means at every time and regularly. We need change. Some prefer to eat food prepared like chapati, bread, dal, pulses, while some prefer to eat mainly rice preparations. So it totally depends on the liking, on the individual taste, the availability, and the place where we live. Here is the list of some states and the foods available in those regions, and that is tabulated in this form. For example, in Punjab, the locally grown crops, means the crops which grow in Punjab only, include maize, wheat, chickpea and pulses. The traditional food over there, which is very famous, they include makke di roti. Makke di roti means, makki means this maize. The maize, the chapati made out of maize. Then sarso da saag means mustard leaves, and chole bhature, we all know that the chana, the kabli chana and the bhature, they are made from maida, and maida comes from wheat. So as you can relate, according to the crops available in the state, the traditional food items are prepared out of these raw materials only. Similarly, in the beverage, the Punjabis like to have lassi, then chach or buttermilk, then tea, coffee, all these things, right? So these come from the animal sources because these are prepared out of milk, and milk comes from obviously animal source. Then if we go down, this is the example of a North Indian state. Now if we go down to a South Indian state, so in the South Indian state of Karnataka, they locally grow rice, ragi, urad dal and coconut. So now using all these crops as the raw materials or the ingredients of their food items, they prepare these food items traditionally, like paratha, idli, dosa, sambar, coconut chutney, palya, rasam, rice, all these things. And for the beverage, they have these things only. Now we come to East. In the East India, we have the example of Odisha. In Odisha, rice, pulses, mustard, coconut, potato, all these things or crops are grown, and they prefer to have these items called pakhala or fermented rice, dalma, chana pora, and then in beverage they have this item called takatorani. So as you can see that depending on the locally grown crops, the traditional food items have changed. from North India to South India to East India, and also if we then go to Gujarat, we know that they are famous for their dhokles, right? Dhokla, fafra, all these items they are prepared because according to the crops grown in those regions. Now, next, culinary practices means cooking practices. They have changed over time, that we know. So now it's a fast moving world. We don't have so much time. Everything is getting modernized and everything is actually enhancing our comfort level also, and on the other hand decreasing the manual labor. So, for example, practices such as grinding the masalas or the spices on the silvatta. Now nobody does that, and everyone has shifted to mixer grinder, but because it takes less time and it is obviously far less cumbersome as compared to grinding the spices on silvatta. Also, previously we had chula, right? And the fuel for chula used to be either wood or coal, all these things. But they were fossil fuels, obviously. So that actually led to pollution and also exhaustion of fossil fuels, which are non-renewable resources of energy. Hence, now we have shifted to the gas stove. Though LPG, or which is the liquefied petroleum gas, that is also a type of fossil fuel only, because we get that while we extract the petroleum deep down from the oceans, but still it is much less polluting as compared to using the chulha. Again, we have another video regarding the two sources, that is plant and animal products. Basically, what type of products we are getting from these two sources. So let's have a watch.
In the previous lesson, we have learned the various types of organisms. Can you name the two major types for me? Yes, they are autotrophs and heterotrophs. Autotrophs are those which can prepare their own food. On the other hand, heterotrophs are those which depend upon other organisms for their food. Now in this video, let us talk about the food consumed by humans. Can you tell me which category the humans belong to? Yes, we are heterotrophic organisms as we depend on other plants and animals for our food. Tell me one thing, when we say that humans consume plants, which part of the plant do we actually refer to? You will be surprised to know that different parts of a plant's body are used as different food items. The plant parts which can be eaten are called edible parts. So can you list a few edible parts of the plants that we consume? Let's begin with the seeds first. Can you tell me one example where we consume seeds of a plant? Yes. We all love to have the hot and refreshing coffee, don't we? And this comes from the beans or seeds of the coffee plant. Similarly, the tasty chocolates which we all are fond of also come from cocoa seeds. Coffee reminds us of the other famous beverage, that is tea. So what part of the tea plant do we consume when we are having tea? Yes, it's the leaves. Now tell me, do we consume plant flowers as well? That's right. We all consume cauliflower, which in true sense is a flower. Interesting, right? Can you guess which part of the plant body you eat when you eat a clove? You'll be surprised to know that it's also a flower. In a similar manner, other plant parts are also consumed by us. Now tell me, what do you think a cabbage is? Which part of it do we actually consume? It is the bud which we eat. Now let's talk about the stems. Can you list a few stems that we consume? The most common of all is sugarcane. Isn't it yum? Yes, it is. Have you missed out any edible plant part? Yes, How can we forget the roots? Radish and carrots are some of the roots which we eat. This is how we consume different parts of various plants. Can you give me an example of a plant which has many edible parts? The simplest example is that of a banana plant. If I ask you which part of the banana plant do we consume, you may say it's the fruit, but you'll be surprised to know that even banana leaf is used in some parts of the world for cooking. It adds flavor and aroma to the food. Also, raw banana, the flower and the stem are used as vegetables in many parts of the globe. So we have seen how different parts of the plants are useful to us. Now let us deviate to animals which are equally important to us. Can you name a few animals which give us various food products or are themselves consumed as food by us? We get meat from the hen, goat, etc. Some of us are fond of fish, aren't we? Some animal products like eggs and milk are quite healthy for us. Even milk products such as butter, ghee, cheese, and yogurt find importance in our regular diet. Now we know why humans are called omnivores. It's because they consume various plants and animals as a part of their diet to gain the necessary nutrients. These nutrients help fuel our bodies and we can carry out the necessary activities.
So from this video, we have got to know that how indispensable the parts of plant are for us as food items, and also the products that we get out of the animals like eggs, meat, milk. Now they have named banana plant. In that case, they have demonstrated how we use the flower, the fruit, both in the raw state as well as in the ripened state, then the leaves and also the stem as our food. I will name another tree, and the name of the tree is moringa. Very useful hypertension or the blood pressure, high blood pressure. Then the flowers are also eaten as curry or by making pakoras. Also the fruit, the drumstick, the fruit is the drumstick. So drumsticks we know we also take as vegetables. So as you can see, in case of moringa tree also we have multiple parts of the tree used as food. So there are many other examples. Also there are animals in whose case we take both milk and the meat. Then we take both the meat and the egg, all these things. So in case of chicken, for example, we take both the eggs and the meat. In case of the cows, so we take both meat, because we know some people take beef also. So both the milk and the meat. And for example, the camel, we need milk. For goats, we have milk and meat. So like this, we have different types of food items, and those are sourced from either plants or animals. Here two columns are made. The sources of plants, they have give us these food items, and the sources of animals give us these food items. So under sources of plants we have the pulses, we have the grains, we have vegetables, fruits, oils, because oils are obtained by crushing and grinding the seeds. For example, mustard seeds, the olive seeds, all these things. Then from the animal sources, obviously we get meat, eggs, chicken, fish, honey also, because honey is prepared by the honeybees, which are obviously a group of animals, and they are insects which fall under animal category only, and they prepare honey by obtaining nectar from the flowers and then mixing their own enzymes. So honey is also animal based product. Some plants are used as food as stated in the video. So which in case plant parts are eaten as food, that we will see along with the particular examples. For example, roots. Which plant roots do we eat? We eat beetroot, we eat sweet potato, we eat turnip, we eat radish, we eat carrot. So all those are examples of vegetables which are plant products, but they are actually the plant roots. They are swollen due to storage of food. They are modified roots. They are used for storage of food, and we take them as our own food item also. Now, example of plant stems which are used as food items, for example, potato and ginger, they are the underground stems. Then we have garlic, that is also underground stem, and turmeric. So all these things are underground stems only. They also, just like the plant roots, they are swollen for storage of food for the plant, but we take them for having or for meeting our own needs of energy as well as nutrients. Now, example of plant leaves which are taken as leafy vegetables. So they are spinach, mustard, banana leaf, moringa leaf. Now, so other leaves are also there which we take as leafy vegetables. They are a very good source of iron or vitamin K, like this. Now, flowers which are taken as food items, such as banana flower taken as vegetable, pumpkin flower which is also eaten as pakora vegetable, sunflower, dandelions. These are all the examples. Fruits which are consumed as food items, obviously. Now in case of fruits, we include both the vegetable and the fruits, because vegetables are the fruits of fertilization for the plant body. We have categorized some of the fruits for the plant as vegetables, because we can't eat them raw. We need to cook them along with adding the spices. So we have categorized them as vegetables. But for the plant, all of them come under the category of fruit, because they all form after fertilization. So like that. So fruits which are taken or consumed as food by the human beings include vegetables like tomato, pumpkin, chili. There will be innumerable list, and also the vegetables and the seeds, as I told you. So seeds, now these are the grains. We also call them grains. The wheat, rice, millets, these are the grains, and these are the seeds, obviously, which we take. And also, as I said, the mustard seeds, the olive seeds, they are also used to produce oil, and oil we know we use for cooking purpose. Now coming to next category, that is sprouts. What are sprouts? Sprouts are young shoots that grow from germinated seeds. So they are packed with nutrients and considered highly beneficial. Now we know that whenever something is growing and developing, the major macronutrient that is very much expected to be found there is protein, because protein is known to be bodybuilding and also used for repair of the body. So the sprout is the young plant which has just emerged, or it is the part of the seedling which has just emerged from the seed. Hence, it is having the it is growing actively now. So it will be enriched with protein and also the vitamins such as A, B and C. Hence, if we have some of the items sprout very easily, such as mung beans, lentils, chickpeas, and wheat and barley. So these are the common seeds which are actually sprouted and they are very good source of protein as well as vitamins such as A, B and C. Now if we take sprouts on a regular basis, they will also provide us another important nutrient, that is dietary fiber. Since they are plant products, they are enriched with dietary fibers, and these fibers help in the proper bowel movement in our digestive system and prevent constipation. So you can now know why having sprout is considered so healthy. Also, it is devoid of any bad cholesterol or fat. So the people who are opting for dieting or reducing the weight, they can satiate their hunger by taking sprouts, because that will also fill your stomach but will not add to any bad cholesterol or fat in your body, rather will enrich you with protein, dietary fiber and vitamins. So it is a very good source of nutrition for the humans. Now the animal products like honey are produced by bees by feeding on the nectar, I already told, and they collect the nectar and store in their homes called hives, bee hives. The hives containing the honey are called honeycombs. So the honeycombs, we know they are hexagonal, mostly in shape. They are attached to one another and hexagonal. Now the people culture the honeybees, and that process is known as apiculture, in which the honeybees are cultured to obtain honey and bee wax, which are both of them very useful for the human use. Milk is another important food product produced by cow, goat, camel, all these animals. And meat, we know we take from chicken, then from pig, from the also the cow, then fish. Then these are the sources of meat for human consumption. Fish will also give us cod liver oil, and this is very good source of vitamin A and can prevent night blindness, because we know due to the deficiency of vitamin A, children suffer from night blindness or weak sightedness. Next thing to discuss on our list is pasteurization. What is this process of pasteurization? You must have also seen that packets of milk have written pasteurized milk. Pasteurized means when the animal gives the milk, now all of it will not be used instantly. It will be transported over long distances. It needs to be stored, and then it will be utilized as and when required. But by the time it will be actually consumed, the chances are actually 100% that it will be spoiled. So what is the method to actually prevent milk to be spoiled? So the name of that method is pasteurization, because it was named after the scientist who discovered it, and the name of the scientist was Louis Pasteur. He actually discovered this method through which we can make milk which is highly perishable, means which gets spoiled very easily, sustain itself, or make milk enhance its shelf life. That means by the time milk will reach from the farm animals to us, so during that time it should be fresh for consumption. Now, how pasteurization is carried out? Pasteurization is carried out by heating the milk to almost 70 degrees Celsius for 10 to 15 degrees Celsius, sorry, to 10 to 70 degrees Celsius for 10 to 15 seconds, and then suddenly cooling it down to 10 degrees Celsius. So what will be the difference in temperature? The difference in temperature is about 60 degrees Celsius. Hence, this sudden decrease in temperature after increase in temperature, so this high temperature will kill many of the harmful microbes who can spoil the milk or the quality of the milk and make it unfit for consumption. And this sudden chilling down will maintain the quality after all the microbes have been killed in the milk. So this chilling temperature will maintain the quality of the milk all throughout. Hence, it is always advised that as soon as you buy the packets of milk, you should preserve it in the refrigerator to avoid any chances of milk spoilage. So you can see that the milk is heated to a specific temperature for a short time that I have mentioned, and it will kill the harmful germs, the bacteria that can cause diseases, and after heating the food, means this, in this case the milk is quickly cooled down to 10 degree Celsius. Now there is another video time which will tell us about different types of organisms. So this is the part 1 of the video. So now let's watch and understand what this video wants to teach us.
We ended the previous video with a few questions. Let me recall them for you. Do other organisms have a different diet? Don't all the animals eat both plants and other animals? And what about plants themselves? Tell me one thing. Have you ever seen plants eating food? Of course not. This is because green plants are capable of producing their own food. Such organisms are called autotrophs. That means autotrophic organisms are those which can prepare their own food. Now, what do we mean by prepare their own food? Let me explain. Have you come across the term photosynthesis? Yes, it's the process in which plants use sunlight, water, and carbon dioxide and carry out several chemical reactions. This produces sugar molecules inside the plant body. This process may not be visible to us from outside, but it happens in the small factories that are present in the green leaves of the plants. So, is it the process of photosynthesis that makes the plant an autotroph? Yes, absolutely. We have been talking about plants for so long. Now, can you tell me about animals? Can animals prepare their own food too? Their body just like plants? Animals, unfortunately, cannot make their own food. Instead, they rely on other organisms as their food source. Such organisms are called as heterotrophs. So, can we say that all the organisms which cannot prepare their own food and are dependent on others for it are heterotrophic organisms? Yes. That simply means all plants are autotrophic while animals are heterotrophic, right? Maybe not. We have come across plants like the Venus flytrap. These plants can perform photosynthesis and can also prey on insects. That is why these are called insectivorous plants. This means they also depend upon other creatures for their food, right? That's right. So don't you think even these will be included in the list of heterotrophs as well? Yes, that's right. Did you know that there are different kinds of heterotrophs? We will see that in the next lesson.
So basically from this video we have known that we have two categories, autotrophs and heterotrophs. The term auto means self and troph means food. So auto means self and troph means food. So autotrophs means the organisms who can prepare their own food with the help of the process called photosynthesis. And on the other hand, hetero means other. Hence, heterotrophs refer to those organisms who cannot make their own food, rather are dependent on autotrophs for their supply of food. So, this is the broad categorization in which we have categorized all the living organisms under autotrophs or heterotrophs. Now, as we go further and we'll watch the second part, we'll know that under heterotrophs also there are various categorizations. But that we'll watch in the next part of the lecture. Today we'll keep the discussion till this, and there are a lot more topics to be covered that we'll do in the subsequent lectures. So stay tuned and do watch the next parts as well to have the complete knowledge about this chapter. Thank you so much for joining with us and stay connected with Fun Scholar Academy. I am Shushmita ma'am signing off for today. See you soon. Take care. Bye bye.